Hello, hello. Welcome back to another ASMR video here on NBA 2K21 My Team. It is currently 4:30 a.m. in the morning, but I felt that it was about as quiet as it's going to be throughout the day, so I'm off tomorrow. I said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and get me another video out. So anybody that's checking this out, I hope you enjoy it. I am going to be going straight to bed after I finish this. For the login today, we did get a free pack. It's an old pack, so I really could care less even if I pull Jimmy Butler out of it. But you know, I figured I would open it on camera. Nothing really to do there. Team is still basically the same. I haven't changed anything. I haven't actually looked at the market today to see what type of prices we're looking at. It's weird because I really don't even know what I want to add to my team at this point. Obviously, you know, I could sell LeBron and AD if I need it, or which I don't think I will because they're two of my favorite players in the league right now. But I really don't know what I want to do with my team kind of for the rest of the year. I don't know if I want to kind of start running some theme teams, maybe do like all-time teams or something like that I'm still trying to decide on. And if you guys hear any snoring in the background, that is my dog. He is sleeping right beside me, so I am almost 100% my mic is going to be picking that up, so I am hoping it is not too loud, but we will see. I haven't even really played since the last time you guys saw me playing. Let's see. Still need to score the points with Luka Doncic. I think what I'm gonna do for today's video, instead of playing triple threat, because to be honest, triple threat's pretty boring. I do have 3 games here left to finish out this. I don't really care for Mel Daniels, obviously, at this point, but it is some actual gameplay for you guys, and it is on Hall of Fame difficulty. Let me make sure I don't have any other challenges I can do or anything. I know I have that one. I think it's just a 50-point game. Yeah, 50 points in, score at least, or get at least 3 blocks. I really don't want to play triple threat. So yeah, we'll go ahead and actually play the domination game just because I can get some tokens from it, and it'll give you guys some actual gameplay. So let's take a look. So it looks like we will be facing Steph Curry, Manu Ginobili, Jimmy Butler, Zion, and DeMarcus Cousins. Now their team is not that good because it is a bunch of older players. However, it is on Hall of Fame difficulty, so guys like Steph and Zion, for example, if they are left open, they will make whatever they shoot. So like I said, this game you really don't have to worry about a bench. So just to save on the contracts, we're gonna go ahead and run the 5-man lineup with Luka, Clay, LeBron, AD, and Dino Raja. It's funny, Dino Raja is one of those players that he's super popular in the 2K community, but as far as actually knowing about him from his actual 2K career, I know absolutely nothing. To be honest, I don't even know if he was a good player or not in real life, but it's kind of like, Brian Scalabrine out in 2K, he's absolutely beloved, and in real life he was, just like an average player. But it's weird, the 2K community has certain cards they just absolutely love. So we shall see. I did switch back to my NBA All-Star jerseys that I made just because I feel like it looks better with with having, than, having people out there that, obviously, because I was running the Lakers uniforms for LeBron and AD, but Luka and Clay and Dino, they obviously never wore Lakers jerseys, so with this mode, the All-Star jerseys just seem to look better for me, so don't want to do that. But we are going to do the settings there. Because on Hall of Fame difficulty, even though it's a computer, I mean, you really gotta be on your P's and Q's, or they can really make the game complicated. I was doing my settings so they can have that basket. Now the thing is that this Steph Curry, he is from season 1, so I'm actually trying to guard Luka. He's not gonna have a good time. Yeah, see, Luka's gonna just go right by him all game if I want, which I do need to get the points with Luka still, so he will be primarily who I am focusing on. That was great defense by Luka. I'm surprised he got that. But that is one of the things with Hall of Fame. Like I said, Hall of Fame difficulty, they will certainly get some of the craziest stuff, especially if you face them with better cards, like some of the newer cards that have released. Those things can be pretty annoying because they win some of the craziest shots ever. That's good defense by Clay. They just had Clay where you could get him for free in one of the vaults. See, that's one of those Hall of Fame shots. Like, Curry is one of them, man. Like, if you give him any sort of space or breathing room on Hall of Fame difficulty, he is going to literally shoot lights out. Like, he barely misses, regardless in the game. But on Hall of Fame difficulty, he is on another level. And it's weird too, because Curry obviously is the greatest shooter of all time, but anytime I ever try to use a Curry card in 2K, I cannot seem to shoot consistently with him. I might have a game or so where, I'll play pretty good, but then I'll have another game where I'll try to shoot with him and I'll be shooting like 30% or something like that. There you go, Luka. See, their cards that they have with this Manu and Steph Curry, I mean, those cards are so old now at this point of the game. I mean, when it comes to defensively, I mean, they're gonna get smoked by my guys, especially Luka. I mean, really any of them. I mean, there's not really anybody on my team that I would say that they could guard. Oh, swing around to LeBron, and he misses it. The higher difficulties this year, Superstar and Hall of Fame, it is super tough. Like with jump shots, if you don't green your shots, I mean, even with cards that I have like this, where they are very, very good. I mean, they, oh wow, I'm so stupid. I accidentally held the button and did a pump fake instead of the actual shot. Dino. It's crazy. Dino's arm or wingspan is like 7'5" or something like that. Like, his arms are so freaking long. And he's always in foul trouble too. Like, anytime I play a game with Dino, he's out there like getting technical fouls and stuff. I think he's the only player that I've actually had get me technical fouls this year. everybody else is, everybody else, I don't have that issue. But nonetheless, he is a great card. I'm thinking about actually picking up that new Galaxy Opal George Merson. I'm a big fan of that card, especially if anybody who played 2K20 MyTeam last year early on, they actually had to nerf Merson because he was so good early on. I mean, you could literally back down anybody in the paint and you would score on them like it didn't matter. I think he was like a sapphire, so he was like an 85 overall, and like it literally didn't matter if you had a freaking Galaxy Opal out there. He was backing them down and just scoring over them at will. So he's another one of those cards that the 2K community just absolutely love. And I remember at one point he was doing something on Twitter where he was like literally just replying to everybody. So like everybody in the 2K community was like sending him messages on Twitter, and he was responding to them. I had even sent him a message. It was like, "Hey man, you're a beast in 2K" or something like that, and he had responded to it. So I thought that was pretty cool. He's seems like a cool guy. Klay Thompson has one of the best releases in all of 2K. Like, I absolutely love that card. Like, when they, as I mentioned earlier, he was just in the vault as like a free card that you could get. Now, of course, you have to actually have the vault open and then give you that card, which can be such a headache, especially with the vault. Like, when they do those vault events where they have pretty good rewards and the vault already opens at like a 30% rate. I'm hoping you can't hear my dog walking across the floor. But as I was saying, the vault already opens at like a 30% rate as it is, and when they have those events, I swear they lower those vaults, because I was playing, I played a bit while that was going on, and I think I played like 5 or 6 games in a row, and the vault didn't open one time, and I was like, okay, well, I think I'm gonna call it here. And my last video that I played on 2K on the channel, I think we played 3 games in a row, and it didn't open either of those times either. So, you know, it's a cool idea by 2K, like where you just play and you can potentially get the cards, but when it just doesn't open, it can be super frustrating. Especially when they have only one player in there that you really want. The absolute worst for me this year was Terry Tishinger, the Peak Diamond that they released earlier this year. I played over 1,000 triple threat games to get that card, and that was absolutely horrible, because just every game you just are hoping that the vault is going to open, and it just never does. And then whenever it does, you get like, 1 token or whatever it may be. Over 1,000 games for me to get that card. And I think I only used it like less than 100 games or something like that. So I told myself I would never do a grind like that for a card unless it was something I absolutely knew 100% that I was going to be using for like the rest of the year, which obviously with 2K that's just not a thing, especially early on, because if you're not familiar with, the Ultimate Team modes or anything like that, as they'll start off the year where cards aren't that good, and then they just get better and better and better, and then eventually it gets to a point like where we are now, where even when they're released, like anything they release from this point on is going to be very good, just because, we're at the end of the year. The only game that I can think that had, which is ironically the game that got me into got me into like the Ultimate Team modes was NCAA football 2014. That mode was awesome when it came to Ultimate Team because they actually had it where day one, where when the game released, they had a 99 overall Bo Jackson, who was by far the best player in the game, even from the day one to the last day that those online servers were on. That card was one of the absolute best in the game, and for a while he was the best until they released, other cards like Adrian Peterson and stuff like that. But I always thought that was really cool that they had that where literally day one you could pull a card like that, but he wasn't in like a specific pack how they do now with these games where they'll release like a pack and you have like featured cards and stuff. He was literally, he could be pulled from like any pack in the game, but he was so rare. And I never actually pulled that card. And I opened so many packs on that game. Like I think like every single week, like every Friday when I was getting paid, I was buying packs and I was getting like, at least a 50 box every single weekend. Now, this was obviously whenever I was still in school and I was working, but I was still living at home, so I didn't have to worry about bills or anything like that, so I was able to just freely blow money on a mode like this, where I have spent money on this mode now, but nowhere near to the amount of like what I was spending back then. Obviously, I just had bills and different priorities now. I just wouldn't feel right for, working and then spending it on, something like this where it literally, here in, 10 weeks or whatever we have left in this game's lifespan, all of this is going to be meaningless. Once the new game comes out, like, you don't even really do anything with with last year's, like, once this game came out, I haven't even played one single game of last year's of this mode, so it's super pointless to like spend a lot of money on this game to have it just be for virtual cards that give you absolutely no sort of value. So that's definitely something that I've learned with these modes. So now I really don't open packs. I kind of just save all of my MT and just buy cards that I want. And as you guys can see, I have almost 1 million MT, and I've had 1 million MT for a couple months now. So, and I much prefer that whenever they release new cards, if there's a card that I want bad enough, I can just go buy it, as opposed to even last year I was just opening packs with like any currency that I had, and you always feel like you're behind because you can't get new cards, and you can't get new cards because obviously you've spent your money on your currency on packs instead of using the auction house, and the packs are super frustrating when it comes to actually getting good cards from the packs. The odds are so bad on any of these games because obviously that's what they're there to do. If they just rewarded everybody, then there would be no need for people to open up a high number of packs. So that's something that I've definitely learned, and I don't think I'll ever be able to not play the mode this way, where I save up my currency early in the year, because there's so much turnover with cards, especially in modes like this. When you get to this point now, then it's kind of where your teams are more steady, and my team really won't be changing that much moving forward. Like Luka, the invincible Luka, he's going to be my point guard for the rest of the year, so that won't be changing. Anthony Davis and LeBron James, they'll probably be on my team for the remainder of the year, unless I just happen to, do a challenge and open a pack and get, like Invincible Kevin Durant or something like that. Then, I might sell LeBron, but other than that, my team's pretty much going to be staying the same. And once we get to the point where they release like the final packs, because they'll do that. Last year was the NBA is back packs where everybody, it was just all like basically 99 everything cards. So once we get to that point, what I'm thinking I'm gonna do is actually just do a huge pack opening video for the channel. So I think that'll be a lot of fun, so we'll see what happens with that. Let's go ahead and do a pick and pop. Dino Raja has a really nice jump shot. Him and Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis, I think, his may be one of my favorites in the game. My absolute favorite in the game is certainly Klay Thompson. Like, his jump shot is so smooth to me. Like, I think it's by far the easiest one to green in my opinion. There's other people that might have ones that, is easier for them or whatever it may be, but as far as for me, it's not even a question. You gotta play up on Curry. He won't drive to the basket. He'll just pull that ball up and shoot it, and then on this Hall of Fame difficulty, it's going down. Great defense right there by the team. Come on, Clay. What? Ball entered basket from below. I don't think I've seen that all year long, so that's a new one. But hey, whatever. Anthony Davis is so money in that corner. And I don't know if you guys can hear it, but my dog is actually dreaming in the background. He is sleeping and he is dreaming, so if you hear him barking, well, not even really barking, but he's like barking in his sleep. So I do apologize for that, but I'm certainly not going to wake him up. Saying Anthony Davis, like I was saying earlier, his shot is so easy to green, even on this Hall of Fame difficulty. I feel like almost every time I shoot with him, it's a green, so I love that card. And I was able to get one with a pretty good number of badges too when there was a market crash. I think he has like 57 badges or something like that. So, he's basically an invincible card, because the invincible cards have like 63 Hall of Fame badges. And if I look at my Anthony Davis, he's got 74 total badges, and as you can see, like the ones that he doesn't have, would I like him to have Trapper Hall of Fame and Off Ball Best? That would be nice, but like some of these other ones, man, like it doesn't matter, and that's what be the difference between like that and like an invincible, like bail out, increases the chance of completing a pass midair. That doesn't matter. Lob City Passer. When am I throwing alley oops with Anthony Davis? Deadeye. That's a big one I'd like to have. Deep fades. I'm never doing I never do fadeaways in this game. They seem to never go in. Giant Slayer, Teardropper. there's just so many badges in this game that are just absolutely pointless, especially if, with you playing as the control, like any of the, like, passing stats or anything like that. They really don't matter on a card besides, like, pass accuracy, because, you're the one using the card. So let's go ahead and call a timeout, get some of our stamina up. But but you're the one, using the card, so that passing stuff doesn't matter. It only really matters for like the computer, so that's things you obviously learn the more you play this mode as well, that there's so many badges and stats that don't even matter. So those are things that I look for as well whenever I'm looking at a card, like, okay, does it have badges that actually matter to me and that are actually going to be used? And the badges that they don't have or that aren't Hall of Fame, are they going to make a difference if they're Hall of Fame or if they don't have them? Because a badge like, alley-oop passing, I forget what it's called, Lob City Passer, Teardropper, deep fades, things like that. I mean, literally, a card could not have those badges or have those badges on Hall of Fame, and you're literally not even going to notice the difference because they just never come into play. Now, obviously, if you're doing, deep fades and things like that, then, then, okay, I can see it, but a player like me, and I'm just specifically talking about my playstyle, there might be somebody that does deep fades and teardrops and things like that all day long, so, if you're that player, then, yeah, of course, those badges will matter to you, but for me and my playstyle, those badges are never going to get used, so I could literally care less about them. Wow, missing 2 shots with Anthony Davis in a row after I was just hyping up how easy it is to shoot with him. See 2K be listening and they're like, oh, okay, bet. But like all-star difficulty or anything lower than Hall of Fame, like that's a bad pass. Anything lower than, Hall of Fame or Superstar with Anthony Davis, like that shot is so easy to hit. I mean, it's easy on Hall of Fame, but on those lower difficulties, like the online difficulty, which is set at Hall of Fame, he does not miss, and the same with Klay Thompson as well. But I mean, as you can see, obviously we're really having no problems with this team right now, so I mean, if he's just gonna run away from Klay, then we will certainly just pull that up. And that's another thing you gotta take into account too whenever you're like, one to get, like, obviously they'll release a new card and you're like, oh, I gotta have it. Because when they release new cards, then everything on the market, especially if it's like a big drop, where, there's a lot of like good players in it, there's going to be a big market crash, so you always want to look at, like, okay, is this a new card going to serve me better than, say, a card that I could get on the market for a lot cheaper? Like, perfect example right now, they have that Ben Wallace card that just dropped on the game, and he has like 57 Hall of Fame badges, basically 99 and everything, and you can get him for like, I think like at the lowest I've seen him is like 60K, so you get him for like 60,000, or you could get the new Invincible Dwight Howard, which I can't believe they gave Dwight Howard an Invincible card, but that's a different story. But anyways, that Invincible Dwight Howard is going for like 400K. I can't believe I made that. It's going for like 400K, and the Ben Wallace is going for 60K. And I can guarantee you, gameplay wise, like in an actual game, they are going to play the exact same. You are not going to notice a difference, but yet there's a 300,000 price difference. So these are things you want to pay attention to as well. Like, if you're trying to do like domination, for example, where you're facing the computer, if you're having no problem beating the computer, then, save your currency. Like, if you're playing online and you are specifically losing, to say, like, if you're matching up against Ben Simmons and, you don't have a good point guard and you're like, man, I gotta invest in a point guard because that's where I'm weak at, then okay, I can certainly understand that. But if you're just, doing it like, oh, well, I want that card because it's the new shiny card and it's an invincible. Just because it's invincible does not mean that it's worth it or that it's needed for your team. So, like, realistically, this team that I have now, I really wouldn't even need to spend another dime of my MD that I have to get any new players, because the cards that I have, I can beat any computer challenge that they come out with on Hall of Fame difficulty, so that's not an issue. And the team that I have, I feel I can be competitive with anybody that I come up against online. Now, obviously, my skill versus their skill will come into play. Like I've had some people that I've ran into online who have worse teams than me, and I, get absolutely smoked. And vice versa, I've came against other people whose teams I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be a tough one, and yet you're up by 10 in the first quarter, and they quit because, just because the card looks amazing on paper, it doesn't mean, one, that it's going to be the difference in you winning or losing a game, especially against computer, because I mean, any of the cards that released here in the past couple months, I mean, you should be able to beat computer really on Hall of Fame difficulty with any of them. Now, if you're new to 2K, then, obviously Hall of Fame difficulty can be, a bit of a grind, but especially if you're like an experienced 2K player and you're just jumping into MyTeam, like, I would say you could probably put together a team for less than 40,000 that you would be able to beat any challenge within this game and be competitive online, because some of the new pink diamonds that they release, for example, the diamonds and pink diamonds that they release now, I mean, they're very good. So I mean, they're not the best cards in the game by any stretch, but like Nicholas Batum, a new pink diamond that was released here a couple weeks ago, you can get that card I think for like 5-6K, and that's the card I was using on my way to grinding for Luka, because that card was so good. Like, I'm a huge fan of that card. He's actually my point guard on my bench for my team that I would run if I was actually using my bench, because he plays, for me, he was playing better than the Dark Matter Ben Simmons. So, and I had Ben Simmons with 50 plus Hall of Fame badges, and I just preferred the Batum over him because gameplay wise and how I use my point guards, I mean, they were basically the exact same card, and one of them I could sell for 300-400K, and the other one is 5K, so it was just a no-brainer for me. So if you're new to this mode or whatever, don't think that you have to have, invincible cards to be able to match up and beat invincible teams, because I can assure you, you do not. And especially the computer, I mean, you could beat the computer with a lot worse cards, but, Hall of Fame difficulty can be kind of annoying, but if you have decent cards like mine, or even just average cards that they've released here recently, I mean, you're gonna absolutely smoke them. Good rebound, Clay. We got takeover on Dina. Oh, I wonder if he was playing that pretty good. They really need to add like a new mode into 2K. Like, I wish they would add like a draft mode or something like that would just give you something different to play, because I mean, the game modes that they have, they get so stale after a while, like, triple threat, or just, basically playing somebody online or playing computer. it can get very repetitive, like even like this game. I mean, I've literally had to like not even focus on actually trying to win, and even though I'm missing every shot I'm taking now, which is whatever, but I mean, as you see, I mean, we're winning by, 30 points. It's not even a competition, but I didn't want to play triple threat because those games are so quick and it's just so repetitive, so I figured it'd be more. Oh my goodness, I cannot hit a shot now. I think I've missed like my last 5 shots in a row. But I just felt that this would be a bit more entertaining than just triple threat games. There you go, nice rebound, Luka. Alright, we need to hit us a shot. Come on, LeBron. There you go. Leave it to the GOAT to break the streak of not hitting a shot. But I do hope you guys are enjoying the content. Like I said, I am trying to be more consistent, so I really appreciate any of you guys that are checking the videos out. And we are just going to stay consistent. That was a bad pass right there, but again, it does not matter. We're winning by 30 points. And this game is almost over anyways. Like I said, Dino's literally, I mean, he's always in the way of the ball, getting rebounds, steals, or whatever. Like I said, the dude has literally extendo arms. And that is a game. We'll take a look at the stats just to see kind of what everybody did before we close out the video. So let's see. So Luka 11 for 13, 26, 8 and 9 steals. Oh my god, I didn't even know he had that many. That's crazy. Dino 16, 8 and 4, 8 for 10. I did not shoot well with Clay at all after hyping him up. Him and AD, the two guys I was hyping up. And it's funny too, I think AD, I was like 4 or 5, and then I started talking about how easy it was to shoot with him. And then I think I missed all of my remaining shots with him. And then Clay Thompson as well, but some of the shots I took with him were just kind of jacking them up. So if I was really playing serious and really trying to make every shot a smart shot, I guarantee I could have basically done this with every single one of my players. But great game by Luka. Let's see what they did. So their leading scorer was Steph Curry with 13. He went 5 for 7. And Nate Archibald 5 for 7. And that was really about it. Everybody else got pretty much nothing. But that is going to be it for this video. We're approaching 40 minutes, so it went a bit longer than I was expecting, but I am glad to get a nice steady video in for you guys. So we are going to wrap it here, and I will see you guys on the next video. And I am about to head to bed because it is it's 10 after 5 a.m. in the morning, so I am going to sleep, and I will see you guys in the next video. Hopefully I will be recording tomorrow, if not tomorrow, the next day. So leave any ideas in the comments if there's anything specifically you'd like to see, especially on 2K. I'm trying to think of ideas of how to, like, spice it up and make it something worthwhile watching. So I'm always reading the comments, so if you have any ideas, certainly let me know. But that is it. Peace.